Welcome to today's lesson on the role of the immune system in the defense against disease. In this session, we will delve into how our body's immune system detects and combats pathogenic invaders in order to keep us healthy. In our lesson today, we will explore the different components of the immune system, such as white blood cells and antibodies, and learn how each part works together to identify, attack, and remember pathogens. This understanding will help you to explain how our body protects itself from infections. So far, you have learned about the non-specific responses to pathogens, which include physical and chemical barriers, such as skin, mucus, and stomach acid. This foundational knowledge of how our body initially prevents pathogens from entering sets the stage for us to introduce the more advanced and specific immune responses. Understanding the role of the immune system advances our biological understanding by explaining how our body not only prevents infection from pathogens, but also actively combats them once they get past our first line of defense. This insight is critical for developing treatments, vaccines, and preventative measures against a wide range of diseases. To help you to understand the role of the immune system in defending against diseases, we'll break down the key components and processes that are involved. Your body has a sophisticated defense mechanism that works tirelessly to protect you from harmful pathogens such as viruses, fungi, and bacteria. Let's dive into how it all works. If pathogens have gotten past the body's initial non-specific defenses, including physical barriers, such as the skin, and chemical barriers, like stomach acid, then the first line of internal defense involves non-specific responses. Non-specific immune cells target any pathogen that they may encounter. The first line of non-specific internal defenses involves phagocytes. Phagocytes are a type of white blood cell that engulfs and digests pathogens in a process known as phagocytosis. During phagocytosis, the phagocyte surrounds the pathogen and absorbs it. Enzymes within the phagocyte can then break down and destroy the isolated pathogen. The digested and destroyed pathogen can then be expelled. Further immune assistance comes from antibodies, which are specialized proteins that can clump pathogens together, thus making it easier for the phagocytes to engulf and destroy them. The immune system's specific responses also work to target specific pathogens. Pathogens have unique proteins on their surfaces called antigens. Some types of white blood cell, generalized as lymphocytes, produce complementary antibodies to these antigens. These antibodies will lock onto the antigens of the pathogen, thus allowing them to be targeted by phagocytes. Antibodies are very specific and will only bind to one type of antigen. Once the right antibody is produced, it is replicated rapidly and transported through the blood to find and bind to similar pathogens. This allows the immune system to recognize and target a specific pathogen rapidly. After an infection is cleared, some of these lymphocytes can become memory cells. If the body encounters the same pathogen again, these memory cells quickly produce the right antibodies, thus preventing future illness. We call this the secondary response. The secondary immune response is why many people who have already been infected with a disease, like chickenpox for example, are less likely to suffer from it again. In addition to this, some white blood cells produce antitoxins. These substances counteract the toxins that are released by bacteria, thus adding another layer of immune defense. In today's lesson, we examine the pivotal role that the immune system plays in defending the body against disease. We started by discussing the role of white blood cells in identifying and eliminating pathogens. We explored the various types of white blood cell, such as phagocytes and lymphocytes, as well as their functions. Phagocytes ingest and digest pathogens, whilst lymphocytes are involved in targeting specific pathogens and produce specific antibodies in order to target them. We also covered the process of how the immune system remembers pathogens through the creation of memory cells. This enables a faster and stronger response upon subsequent exposure to the same pathogen. By understanding these concepts, you now have a clearer picture of how the immune system functions to protect the body against infections, and how its components work together to identify, target, and remember pathogens. This knowledge is fundamental in comprehending how vaccines and other immune therapies help to control and prevent diseases.